All right. As part of the Animal Control Board, I would like to call this meeting to order. First, we'll start off with the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. First, can I get approval of the agenda that has been that is in front of us? I need a motion first.
I'd like just to make an addition to that.
Okay.
Just a report on what I've been doing with Steve Bartels.
Okay.
That's okay with you?
Yep.
Put that on the end?
Yep. We can do that under further discussion then.
Oh, okay, that'd be fine.
Yep, we'll do the further discussion part. All right. Now, if I make a motion to approve the agenda.
Motion.
And I'll second that motion.
Becky first, Charlie second. All approve?
Aye.
All is approved. All right. The next thing is we can go ahead and review the minutes from the last meeting. They're all in front of you. If anybody is think we need to make any changes or whatever, please speak up and we'll make the
Are we talking about the July meeting or the August meeting at this time?
August 1.
Okay.
I wasn't here.
I wasn't either, so we'll have to abstain from that.
Well, I need a motion to approve the minutes from the August meeting. I'll make the motion. Jim first. Second it. I'll second it. All in favor? Approval of the minutes from the August meeting. Aye.
I already seconded. No, because we can't.
We can't hold on, we were not here.
So approval, you're not going to approve of it, so. Okay, next thing is, now we need public comments. I'm gonna just now set them in. All right, so is there anybody need forward for, got anything you want to speak up on? Only one person, and that's a no, so I guess we'll have no public comments tonight. Okay, well, next thing is report on promotional items for the school. Charlie, you've been working on that?
Well, actually, Becky has.
Yeah, I've got some on there. You should see the, what
The bag.
bags are going to look like.
And they are at the shelter. I picked them up.
Yeah, I say, but orange instead of green,
Yeah.
red, or black,
And they're really nice.
because I don't want to make.
What's this little doodad here? Is it just a typo or what?
No,
It's
it's
draw
Georgetown.
Oh, okay. Neat.
Let's do an orange. They'll
Yeah, reflective.
actually stick out. Maybe somebody will actually notice and
Yeah. They
that
can
was-
use them again for different things.
that'll help tremendously once we get them out. All right, is there anything else we've been working on for the schools that anybody need to bring up?
Yeah, just real quick, I handed out a copy of the curriculum. Basically, what we've discussed is to present this in kindergarten 1st through 4 in the 3 school corporations. And basically, the class is only going to be somewhere between 30 and 40 minutes long. And it's broken down into the introduction by the speakers, whoever the board members. I know Tanya has reached out to me and said that if she's available, she'll do it. I plan on doing, and anyone else, we'll just introduce ourselves, tell a little bit about the board. And then the second part of it is the video, and it'll be a YouTube video, and it'll be grade appropriate. Because of K through 4, the ones in kindergarten are not going to understand a lot of the other detail that the 4th graders are. So we'll do that. And then we're going to do a tour of the shelter. And we're still up in the air if we're going to do a virtual tour or a video from the shelter. So the students get to see what that is. And then we'll review what we've discussed, and then at the end, we'll give out, most likely those bags will be given to the teacher, that they'll give them out probably at the end of school instead of during school, because they'll be in those bags the whole time. So approximately 30 to 40 minutes. If the board approves this curriculum, then I will present it to the 3 schools.
I'll make a motion to approve it.
I'll second it.
Yeah. I can't wait to get started on this.
All in favor for approval of the classroom curriculum that we're gonna go to all the schools with? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Sounds like we got us a start to the classroom curriculum.
Yeah.
Good deal. Well, is Ann or Molly gonna?
They told me they were gonna be here, but apparently they might have got tied up a little bit, but there is a discussion I want to have about the shelter.
Okay.
The shelter is very important especially to this board and our community. Right now, they're going through a situation where, for budgeting for next year with the county and Tell City. Tell City broke away from the agreement, so now they have their own contract with the animal shelter. All right. So that brings up some issues about the funding. They're going back and forth on how much the Tell City is going to, pay the shelter. They want,
They're no longer in the interlocal agreement.
apparently not. And
Reason?
I have no idea. No one's either. Molly just told me that they had to write a contract with Tell City.
Do you have any details like on what the money was before with the original agreement? Like,
I think it was 35,000.
was Tell City's part?
It was Tell City's part. They did get, the shelter did receive that this year. Next year, she asked in her budget for more.
Yeah.
And they actually, said that they were coming back with the 35,000, and then they raised it to 36. Okay, so that's still their negotiations. And one thing that I think people have to realize is that, it's very hard to make a budget for the upcoming year. You never know what's going to happen. They get hit with these extra expenses on these animals that they have to take to the vet and that. So we've got to take that in consideration. There was also an issue regarding their donations. And I think the public believes that they're getting a lot of money on donations, and they're really not, but they appreciate every dollar that's donated. It helps them tremendously. But there were rumors that they had gotten a lot of donations after Officer Glenn died. They did receive some, but not the kind of numbers that
Yeah,
the
well,
community
and people
thinks.
think that like when we done that bake sale, $7,000, that is no money when it comes to trying.
No. So the donations are very important. They
Yes.
appreciate every donation that anyone makes. This
Whether it be
community
monetary or material.
Right. And the community has stepped up to help them, especially in dire need, especially when they had the cat. They did a donation and paid for the vet fees. But this is one of those situations, like a lot of departments, they come up with a budget, but they're not sure if they're going to be able to stay within their budget. So,
And where does that come from? Where's the excess?
exactly, they'll have X amount of dollars, and the other thing is that people have to understand. I think the county has been very good about their funding. Plus, technically, the building is the county, and they're letting them have that. So the county is really putting in, and also they have that special fund that they're paying on the maintenance of that.
Yeah, they have
We keep the building maintenance up there, so
Yeah.
the county's doing a lot more than.
So we,
Yeah.
we need to push to get everybody to cooperate on that. While we're talking about the funding, I had sent 2 letters to the Board of Commissioners for funding this year. And one of them was, and I'll read both of these. It says, I'm writing to you on behalf of the Perry County Animal Welfare and Education Board. In the past, we've received funding from the Commissioner's budget in the amount of $5,000. For the year 2025, we're requesting the amount of $6,500. We are asking for the addition amount to fund the training of an individual to be able to euthanize certain animals when it becomes necessary. We would also like to fund some of the expense related to the medicine used in this procedure. We appreciate your consideration in funding this additional amount. This was sent in July 1st. On July 24th, I sent another letter to the commissioners. And again, it says I'm writing on behalf of this board. For the year 2025, we're requesting an additional amount of $15,600. We're asking for the additional amount to fund the hiring of a part-time animal control officer. The individual would work 20 hours a week at $15 per hour. We understand this is not the solution to our animal problem, but is a start. We appreciate your consideration in the funding. During the county council's budget hearing, they cut that out. And that they said they didn't have a plan. I thought I understand it. But they did take my understanding, the 15,000 that we had asked for, and moved it over to the shelter for a total of 50,000.
So the county is putting 50,000 towards the shelter?
That's what was recommended in the budget. I don't know if it passed. Okay. So that's what the county was putting in.
Yeah.
As I said, the animal control officer, it didn't really upset me because, as I told you all, in my thinking, this is a triangle.
Yeah.
We have the base of the triangle, the shelter. The one side of this triangle is the ordinance, and the other side is the animal control officer. We're very close with the ordinance, so we'll have 2/3. Next year, we'll work on the animal control officer.
Black and white plan.
Right. And hopefully we can reach out, and maybe there's some funding out there that we can get to help this process. Because in the ordinance, the fees is going, we're asking for those fees to go into a special account for animal control officers, but it's going to take a while for that to build up.
Mm-hmm.
So we need a lump sum into that account to be able to do this.
You know,
So,
I don't know, how you asking this, but like, you know, like I'm sure you guys have heard of that Alley Cats up in Louisville that does the.
right.
Okay, I don't know if that's a rescue or a 501(c)(3) or what, but can just anyone, like any normal person, apply for a grant for someone else? You know what I mean? Like if I was to be, can you do that?
Most of the time when you apply for a grant, they would like to see a 501(c) grant attached to it. But now, all of them don't. I don't know.
Yeah, well, I was just thinking, you know, maybe for the shelter, or if it could be something for our county, something that we could possibly start looking into.
And I think that's what we need. We need to research and look
Yeah.
out there, what are possibilities? Because we all know that the county, the cities, their budgets are so tight
Yeah,
that it's hard to get, you know,
but
anything
if, yeah, if we
additional.
could get a good chunk to get going, maybe.
I know the. No, Hill City's not gonna be in interlocal agreement, is Taunton.
That I had no
They
idea.
agreed.
I've actually, they were supposed to talk about that briefly, but I don't think come up, I'll be on the next.
On their budget?
They were gonna be talking about it briefly, but I was in a meeting, what they call it, one of those meetings when the mayor was talking to 2, 3 people, and I was hearing them discuss that, but I couldn't attend the meeting. That was the day that I was left, that you were going in.
Right.
So I'm gonna be at the next meeting, and
And I think, with your permission, we'll reach out to Troy and,
Since we're gonna have Troy on the board, that it would not be hurt for them.
Adam's on the board. And, just to see if there's funding there. I don't know when you go into your budget hearing.
We've already did our budget.
They've already
Okay,
done
do
their
you
budget.
remember anything for?
I don't remember.
Well, and I may be wrong, but I think in that local agreement, Cannleton was like 5,000 and Troy was,
What Troy, no.
No,
There wasn't anything.
well, I thought there was an agreement
No,
that they,
Taunton, Hill City, county.
okay.
Troy is in the agreement for 0 amount.
Is that what it was? I never did know. I thought
they were-
somebody told me it was like $1,800.
No, they were in the last I remember they were in the agreement, but they didn't have any money at the time. They were actually, I think it had to do with the water, the water situation.
Yeah.
I think that drowned that, not everything else, so.
So, like I said, all the entities, the budgets are tight. And especially smaller entities, so we understand that, but, a lot of times we hear, well, it's the county's responsibility, and that there's really no law that says the county has to do this. The county has stepped up with the building and the funding, so I feel like the county's doing their part.
Yeah,
We
We're
need to
going
make
above
sure
and beyond.
everybody works together, and unfortunately, this world today, a lot of times, people don't want to work together, so that's a shame.
Or has anybody approached, Humane Society gives a very nice gift from the Moser Foundation for the last 3 years. And I'm thinking, that since I'm assuming that you knew that they sold for $500 million is what they got when they sold out to that German company or whatever. That's what my understanding is. So they farmed that foundation with that, and so I'd like to see somebody that has connection with people that would be in control of that foundation.
That might be somebody that we could reach out to about helping us fund an animal control officer.
yeah.
Just a suggestion.
They effectively double our income. We get 5,000. Our income from the containers is about 4,000. They give us the last 3 years, they gave us $5,000. And that's really helpful.
Well, so I was wondering, is that gonna stop now though, since they sold?
No,
No, it's a foundation.
Oh,
The
okay.
foundation, it was formed with X amount of dollars.
Oh,
They
okay.
sit there in the foundation
Yeah.
for certain things every year.
So,
That might be something to reach out to.
Yeah, it's definitely something to look into.
So that was, everything on the, shelter.
Once they come in, we'll see if they got anything else
Yeah.
extra to add, but
I'm sure they would have been here. I spoke to him just the other day. I was at
yeah, something came up.
They're very late too, a lot of times, it's terrible. I don't think they have set hours at all.
well, they are cutting back some of their hours. Basically, they're full, and they have posted on their site that they will not be taking calls after 10 o'clock at night and going out and getting animals.
They gotta get some sleep sometime.
Yeah.
Well, also the funding.
That's why we have law enforcement.
Right, right. And again, as we know, the county agreement with the shelter, they're not animal control.
No, they're not.
Correct.
They're doing this out of the goodness of their heart, and now they finally realize it's time to
Yeah.
set some perimeters.
Yes.
So, and,
Kudos to them too for doing that.
right,
Yeah.
and it was a hard decision for Molly, I can tell you.
Yeah, she thinks she's being mean, but, and I understand her point, she thinks that, the animal's gonna suffer because.
Yeah, and I think they feel like they've been walked on,
Yeah,
especially with this budget situation.
yeah,
So, and that's just my opinion,
it
not
seems like,
speaking for her. Okay.
They got skipped over the cat and bike reports. We wanna look over them. Has anybody had a chance to look over?
I looked over
Yeah.
there.
Yeah,
I didn't see anything,
yeah, the bite reports are in written form, there's only 2 of them. And there was,
Yeah. They're
yeah, if you wanna stand
cats and keep, family and the neighbors.
Oh, yeah.
in there.
Family and the neighbors.
Oh. I'm sure next month we'll have a lot more stuff on the cat reports. Be a lot of deer probably get hit on the road.
Yeah.
Because they're already starting to get hit now. So.
Well, maybe Bobcat here. Yeah, Bobcat.
On your road, anything do we hit?
Yeah.
That lady that called in that whatever beast she said it was,
So we can skip
that was about
10.
3 years ago, not too far from you. Yeah, I think it would help.
So you did,
I'm waiting for the armadillos to attack.
Well,
you
one guy didn't say
didn't
murder.
approve
They're all
budget
over,
or
they're all over the,
paying the hand, are they still planning on doing it?
Well, I was hoping Ann was gonna be here.
There was one over in
I
Hallsville.
talked to her.
What was that?
Armadillo over in Hallsville.
oh, yeah, they're,
Yeah.
Natural Parkway's full of them.
Yeah.
Said once it's cold winter, it'll be the end of, they'll kill it.
Yeah.
That's the problem. We had such a lot this year, they've been moving her way up north. So I think they're advancing.
I think they
Yeah,
are too.
our winters ain't, we haven't had a real winter, I don't feel like in the last couple of years. All right, well, we'll go ahead and jump over on the update, I guess, for the budget for the board.
He just
Adam,
basically,
what about the upcoming spay and neuter clinic? That was, last Sunday and.
Yeah.
And Jim worked it and I had an animal up there, so.
Yeah, we had I don't know official end, but it was between 110 and 120 cats that were registered.
wow,
Good.
And out of that, 73 were Perry County residents. And the Perry County, basically, Humane Society paid $3,600 for that, because we paid $50 for up to 2 cats for anybody in Perry County.
What was that, Jim? They paid how much
The Humane Society paid $50 per cat,
total?
with a maximum of 2 cats, so a person had 2 cats.
How much did they pay altogether?
3,600.
73 vouchers.
And just think about this, those 73 cats.
So that'd be 900 cats by the
Yeah,
end of the
just
year.
think of it.
At
So
least,
that's a reduction.
Here's our problem. There were 3 people that actually worked, myself, my wife, and Sarah Jane Johnson. So we got to get some, the problem with the Humane Society, we can't get enough members anymore. The thing is, they want to see animals. So
Yeah.
We work with the shelter, so they go to the shelter.
Yeah.
But we can't keep young members just because young people are not.
Well,
Joining.
let's put it out this way, Jim, with this educating the kids, maybe they'll
Yeah.
talk to their parents, they'll talk to older brothers and sisters and try to get them involved. I think also during that presentation, we should mention something about the Humane Society,
yeah,
how they work with the shelter.
Well, we also, the day before, and the newspaper did not get it in the paper on time, even though it was reported to the newspaper, we had a chip fitting at Tractor Supply.
Yes, I seen that today.
I saw that on Facebook.
I'm going, where'd this come from?
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's because everything got in late, and
Do you know how many animals they chipped?
we only chipped 7 animals. 'cause only
Really?
7 animals.
oh,
And
Well-
we took, it was $15 with a forever chip and $5 off for any Perry County resident, so.
That's crazy, because if you take them to the vet, it's a lot more.
yeah, it is.
Yes.
Well, I know Sunday when I took the kitten to have her fixed, they tattooed her ear and on her stomach. So identification, so.
So what, the problem is, my wife is, she's 24 years, I think. I really not sure how many years. But she's tired and she doesn't want, after this year,
Yeah,
she doesn't want to go anymore. And she's been the person that's always been the rock, you know.
yeah,
Well, and Sunday, believe it or not, when I was in line, a downpour came. And those poor girls that were coming and picking up the animals out of the vehicles, you had to stay in your vehicle and they came and took your animal. One of them fell and slipped and fell up there. So there ought to be a different way of rerouting those vehicles where it could be a shelter.
I've been trying because I was I was in front of, in charge of traffic.
Yeah.
We didn't have anybody work at that either. So it was myself and Yvonne and Sarah Jane doing those
Yeah.
3. And Sarah Jane was riding the
Right.
motors. And I was trying to run back and forth and getting those cars lined up.
Do you have a date for a future one?
No, we
Yeah.
normally have one in the spring and one in the fall.
Okay. Maybe if we can get a date, maybe we can advertise and
Yeah.
get some more help up there.
Ann is in charge of that, and she communicates with the state, and they set up.
Okay. Well, then I'll get with Ann because we can reach out
Yeah.
Tennessee Police Department for, get reserves to direct traffic on the highway. And we can try to get volunteers to help you out on there.
There's a new sign going to be going up. I don't know if it'll be up, it should be up by the spring. It's gonna be a big digital sign down at the bottom of the hill.
Oh, for 4-H?
Yeah.
And we can always contact
Yeah,
them and
yeah,
tell them to
that-
put that up
yeah.
on that sign.
They're getting up to let them use your place, so.
Now,
Okay.
I remember them, yeah, they was talking about doing that, so.
Yeah, they got ARP money to help put it.
That's great.
Big sign.
So-
Champagne was not, but, I'm not in charge of the advertising, but I did call that in a week and a half ago and the newspaper missed both of them. I don't know why.
I happened to see it Saturday on
Yeah.
Facebook.
I did too. That's how I see it.
That was the first knowledge I had.
That's ridiculous. You're not gonna have to do that with them. You're not gonna do it on with the newspaper. If you call something, it should be in there.
Yeah.
Well, they get that light sign, hopefully then that'll help. Everybody will see that thing, because everybody knows
Well,
Walmart.
and hopefully the public that's watching this meeting is hearing this information, and that's what we need to continue to do.
Well,
is
if we can get dates
information
soon,
out
we
there.
can, maybe we can go around, hang up some flyers here and there, like previous, that might help too.
If we're not gonna have one till the spring, we have time
Yeah.
to make plans.
Yeah.
Okay. You wanna take notes?
No, I'll get it off the rest.
Okay,
Okay, yes.
All right.
Good deal.
Uh,
She's seen my notes.
I'm gonna talk about the ordinance, what we wanna do on that, and then you want to,
I'll contact Andrew. You send them to me and I'll contact Andrew and tell him to go ahead and just draw it up and have it drawn up and
okay, all right,
go
sounds good.
from there.
Thank you.
So are we all on the same page as the?
Well,
everyone accepting?
When we get ready to, do the update on the ordinance,
Oh, okay.
Just wait for
Okay.
just like this time. On your phone.
look at
Ready for further discussion?
Is that a book?
No, it's a, it's a,
that. It is.
it's a, oh, Z6
Oh, he's
Pro.
got another
They have a
business,
plan.
yeah.
They have a
Ben.
Pro.
Actually, we'll be ready for that.
That looks like a laptop.
We do that.
Yeah, it's this
Maybe
thing.
on business, I'll fill right on in.
I'd have that tore up in no time.
I can see it.
Since you're leaving, I'll go ahead and give you this copy. He's gonna get a copy. So I'll give you the copy now. That's what's going, that's what's going to the councils and the commissioners and whoever, city councils, that's the, stuff that I'm showing them, so. All right. Gotta remember to hit instrument.
Yeah, hit in stream and then,
Click out.
Yeah.
Yeah, he'll take care of it. All right, thanks for coming, Becky. Busy schedule.
She's never busy.
All right, well, so we'll go ahead and move on to any unknown businesses. Since Ann's not here and for her to give us an update on her schooling and stuff, so. All right, so,
Oh, speaking of that, with permission, I will get with Ann, because we need to get those bills into the auditor's office as soon as possible to get this paid for.
Yeah.
We have the money, and then we can see how much we have left over in the next meeting in October, which will be at the Armory,
yes,
22nd. We will, have the numbers that we know what we have left to, we can use for the rest of the year. Okay?
all right, Jim, I guess you,
Oh, well, can we do the update on the ordinance?
yes, yeah, let's go ahead and do that.
Okay. I think I sent you guys an email, and the things that have really slowed this down was the part that starts on page 9. And it has to do with the licensing of animals. And that brought up red flags, with Tell City and Troy. Troy's attorney is Chris Goffin, and Chris actually wrote this ordinance way back when he was the county attorney. And, those fees were never set in, and I think Jim's gonna go a little bit more on that in his presentation, but these were the recommendations I made on the changes of the ordinance. And I spoke to Chris, and he said that they would be fine with it. It's delete license and permits, and that starts on page 9 of the ordinance and goes through 13. And then at the top of 14, it has number 3, that would be deleted. So that would take care of all the licensing and permits. So that would be taken out of this ordinance. The second part is the board membership. We want to raise the membership from 5 to 7. This will add a representative from Troy, which will be appointed by the Troy Council. It'll also add a representative as a resident of Perry County. Anyone that lives in Perry County that's willing to serve on this board can submit a letter to the Perry County Council. That will be their appointment. So the new breakdown would be the Perry County Commissioners will have 2 appointments, the council will have 2, Tell City will have 1, Candleton will have 1, and Troy will have 1. That would be the makeup of 7. All right. So I guess we really ought to make a motion to make these changes and then send it to the county attorney and the commissioner's attorney so he can make the changes, send us a new copy of it, and then at that time I'll present it to the commissioners, and then we'll go to the other entities with it.
Yeah, I say, so, guess we'll make a motion to make them
And I
changes.
just want to add, even though what I'm doing is involved with this, we've got to do something now anyway. You know, we don't have time, we got to get going.
And this ordinance can be amended in the future.
When we have representatives from all their,
Right.
right, I agree.
So that's no problem. This is just to get it into effect.
Yeah,
Yes.
I agree, yeah.
I'll second the motion.
All in favor?
Aye. Okay,
Changes made,
we're ready to
move forward.
forward. We're ready for Jim.
I think we're ready now for Jim.
Okay, this is,
Let me pass this down.
well, that's just me, I had just had 2 copies.
Okay, all right.
That's all right.
You can make copies of this later on to give it to the board, but basically, this is the information that I've been giving to the councils and commissioners. I've been in, 2 weeks ago, I was in the county council in Jasper and Du Bois. I was in a week ago, it was about a week ago, I was in English at Crawford County, and then last week I was at Spencer County. And the only county I actually haven't officially was our own county, and I was supposed to be at this last county council meeting, and our little doggy got real bad and had to cancel because we had a major problem. But anyway, we think she's okay. But anyway, that pamphlet basically has the county option dog tax within it, so they can see what it is. It shows the counties that are actually using the county option dog tax. And 3 of those counties are really not, so there's only 7 counties in the whole state that are using it. There's a map on the back that kind of shows you where those counties are, which are all over the state. And what I'm trying to convince, for 2 reasons, I'm trying to convince Steve Bartels. I've already had discussions with him, but and next week I'm supposed to try to get with him, or the next week after that, because he has to have, the whole purpose of that is to try to get these councils and commissioners to try to push Steve Bartels' arm to go and try to sponsor a bill to put in the state legislature, but he has to have it by November 1st. So I thought about why I went around to each county was, if I was doing it by myself, what kind of pressure is that? And even though it makes sense, when I talk to different counties, they realize that one of the problems is, and the major problem is, if you'll see the writing in there, the cities are being handcuffed, not having the ability to license, because that law basically states that if the county council or any council or any city within that council, the county council does not pass the county occupancy tax, neither the county nor any of the cities within that county can have a license.
Yeah.
That means that if Troy had a major problem and they said, hey, you know, we don't have any other way to do this, but fund it, but the license, and I'm about saying you will or won't, then they should have the option to be able to license. The way the law is, the state law is, the cities can't license, and that, to me, is not correct, because Hamilton has a major problem, and they're within a few months of starting to decide how we're gonna handle this, but they can't license either. They can license cats, and that's the big problem, but can you imagine if they licensed cats and didn't license dogs? See what that, that wouldn't fly.
Mhm.
So that's why I've been fighting, the state, and I'm working in Elkhart too. Working in different parts of the state, and that's basically, what each person is getting, and I'm handing that out to. It's just a statement to ask that person to help pressure.
Well, Jim, wasn't you saying also that some of the counties that was even using this wasn't using it right? They wasn't sending like their portion to Purdue, like they're.
Now, this is unofficial, but it was well over $1 million in Elkhart,
Yeah.
licensed illegally. And they don't wanna call me back because they think that, they thought I was trying, when I called them and said, make them aware of this,
Yeah.
I think that they were trying to, that I was blackmailing.
Yeah, right.
They thought, hey, he wants a percentage or something, you know, if he doesn't say anything. It doesn't matter. I may be going to Vandenberg County also to get other legislatures to push this, and that's 250,000 people there.
Yeah.
And I might have to, like I said, I've been staying out of the public attention so that I can get Steve to maybe swipe it. It's true.
Yeah.
But
What kind of response are you getting from Steve?
Steve is very responsive, but like anything else, you know, I'm not. You gotta get more people saying, hey, Mr. Carter has a point. Look at it more heavily. I can't do it as an individual. I always do things as an individual, but this time I said, hey, let me go see if I can. I've got a meeting, I've got a meeting with, Huntingburg.
Du Bois County,
But I'm going to the cities too, so I've got,
Right.
and I've got one set up with Ferdinand, if it doesn't interfere with the 11 meetings I don't want to. But I'm trying to set up meetings before middle of October so that I can really get with Steve. And I'm hoping just in a few weeks that I'll get to Steve and see how much response that they're getting, you know, how much pressure. So.
and unfortunately, this is an election year for Steve, and he's gonna be very busy.
Yeah.
Yes,
So,
but it's also, if he starts listening to what the people are saying, hey, you know, this makes sense. Why,
be a feather in his hat.
why should, if less than 10 counties in this state are using that law, why should you have any kind of a tax law that only 10 counties?
Exactly right. Well, Jim, we appreciate your work,
Yeah.
and we want you to continue doing so, and
Like I said, I can't say yay or nay, but where it's gonna go, but I think,
I mean, it wouldn't hurt all of us to make phone calls just to, that's why I just wrote it down here. I wanna make a call too.
so that's the point, yeah, of that pamphlet, and you can make copies of that later on, that's for you.
Keep it here
okay.
with all my other stuff.
So, anyway, yeah, in fact, here's the thing that could be done. On paragraph 9 of that law, that if they just took out paragraph 9, then there wouldn't be responsibility of the county to pass that, so that the cities, if they just took out, that's what my
That's the
second.
paragraph that says that you can't license animals unless you have the dog tag.
That's why Chris Bachman had that in the original ordinance, because the state law said, and that's why he put it on there. So what is, hey guys, hang loose here, let's see if we can get the law changed, then there's no argument with it, it doesn't have to be passed. So,
Well, as I said, that's the main reason at this time we want to delete that part of the ordinance that we're presenting. For, the future, that might change if the state dissolves that ordinance or that section that you're talking about.
I was gonna make some copies, but I.
That's all right.
You're fine, yeah.
You're fine.
I'll get it to you, but basically, I said before, my problem is that now my memory is getting so bad, and if I don't write down, just like I took his phone number last month, I can't find where I put that anymore. You'll run into this eventually.
I'm starting already, Jim.
But anyway, that's, basically where I'm at. I should be seeing him, I'm gonna say by definitely before October 15th, but by October 15th, and see what he says. And I'll get back with you, at the, October 22nd meeting.
Depending on what happens in November, you'll either go with it or, or say, well, be the next guy's problem or issue. But hopefully at least get it spearheaded and get it going in the right direction. So. All right. Is there any other unknown businesses that we need to bring up or discuss that anybody can think of that we're missing out on? Just for any of you, those that are listening, remember, winter's gonna be right around the corner, so make sure you're gonna have plenty of shelter, straw, and make sure you got plenty of fresh available water and food for your pets.
And by the way, in the first week of November, we have a straw giveaway every year. It's gonna be at Vanguard, and I already contacted them. And they said, that, yes, we can have it again this year. We get free straw.
First week of November?
But usually the first week could be the second week, when the, kind of like,
Okay,
whenever the directors decide, okay,
yeah,
first 2 weeks, but it's usually the first week. But before, it's at that time when it's starting to get cold, when people say, hey, we better do something.
yeah, better do, yeah.
Yeah, so, yeah, well, you should have a definite date by our next meeting, so
Yes.
make sure to do a reminder of that, so people
Yeah.
can go get it, the available straw.
Jim, is there any place where people can get, there seemed to me like I remember used to, didn't the Humane Society help with dog houses too?
We still have, I think we got maybe 1 or 2 dog houses that are available, but Ann is control of that now. She's the president,
Yeah.
and she's got the phone, and she called me and said,
Yeah.
okay, yeah, we got a few that.
Okay.
Charlie used to make those, and those were very nice.
Yes, so you used to make them?
No.
Oh,
No, nothing,
oh.
Charlie Ball was one of the.
Well, I was gonna say, I thought someone used to make them for the Humane Society, and then I didn't know if those were still available or not.
I think there's 1 or 2 available. I have so much in my barn,
Right.
traps and stuff like that, but I think.
Well, good to know in case someone was to ask.
Well, and I think the shelter may have
Have
some
some?
that's been donated to them.
Okay.
And I think also, pens, also indoor crates.
And there's really no
So-
reason for anyone to do without if,
Exactly, that they can reach out, and
Yeah.
I'm sure if neither one of those organizations.
we can come up with
We
something.
can come up with something.
We gotta promote, the Humane Society, like I said, has no young people. And at those high schools, we gotta promote.
Well, so we're doing this education for the young ones, which we are. But maybe we can work in some kind of curriculum for, like, just do an hour, class for the whole high school. I know that they're not as interested as the young ones, but maybe if you could get 5 kids it would spark their interest, that would help the
Like
Humane
you set
Society.
up at the, you set up a career day.
Yeah,
Have a
something
booth at
like
career
that.
day.
And I
Yeah.
think that if you would contact the schools, the different, groups that they have,
Yeah, the classes.
that you could reach out to them,
Yeah.
and, I'm sure it'd be people,
Yeah.
because, even if we, went to the Boy Scouts,
Yeah.
they're always looking for projects.
4-H.
Yeah.
4-H.
We
Great cheerleaders.
we were thinking that would probably be one of the better ones,
Yeah.
because they do special projects.
Mhm.
And that.
Yeah.
that was the one that I thought.
Yeah, reach out, I mean, cause you
That
definitely
might
need
be
some.
something we need to reach out to, the extension office
Yeah,
and say, hey, this is a situation we have. What can you do to help us?
Yeah.
Try to get some
yeah,
members.
we don't need fourth graders out there directing traffic through.
No, but I mean, but even in November, you probably would be nice to have help with the straw.
Yeah,
Right, we usually have a help with that, but like a lot of people don't realize that we put close to 1,000 pounds of dog and cat food in all the food pantries every month. Been doing this for the last about 5 years now, and I see that the manager of one came up to me after we've been doing this for about a year, and he said, Jim, how's things going? I said, well, we can do this as long as has the funds to do it, and we can work with these different groups that are helping us. And he said, did you know that dog and cat food is the second most requested thing?
At the food banks.
Other milk is number one and dog and cat food.
Yeah.
So I don't, whatever happens, in fact, I collected today. I've been collecting all day. The cans, we got 43 cans throughout the county. My energy's gone.
Yeah.
You know?
It's time for other people to step up and
yeah,
Because we have to repack that food by law. I ain't gonna say by law. People that are giving us the food that have these brand names on them, they don't want that brand name put out
Right.
with the food because of we had somebody that said, hey, I think that band and sued. They take everything we had,
right,
plus people would stop helping us. So we have to inspect the food, completely repack it, and then completely go the van every 2 weeks is totally full with hot.
yeah.
And I'm telling you,
It's a lot of work.
I'm taking up these 45, 50-pound totes. You know, I'm getting tired.
Yeah,
I understand.
I need help. So,
Well, I think it's like everything else, communication. We need to make sure we get the information out to the public. And I guarantee you, there are people out there that want things to do.
yeah, there's
Want to
someone that wants
volunteer,
to get
but
involved, they just don't know how.
Nobody knows how.
Get comments, anybody.
Yeah,
They can contact the shelter, they can contact the Humane Society, they can contact us on our website, our Facebook account.
well, like I said, the situation is I have to go, I'm just a vice president and the directors make decisions. So anything that happens, I have to review with Ann.
Right.
Ann may not be on the same.
yeah,
I'm sure Ann's not gonna turn down volunteers.
no,
I don't.
That's one thing I think that we're all in agreement
yeah.
for.
No issues there.
Anything else, Mr. President?
As far as I have nothing else left to say. Is anybody else got anything they need to bring up? I guess
No.
I'll make a motion that we adjourn.
I'll second.
Second, all in favor of adjourning the meeting at 10 till 7?
Aye.
Aye. Meeting is adjourned. Streaming is ending now.